Hello, I'm Nadira Jamal, the director of Belly Dance Somerville. One of the things that belly dance class is so great for is helping you maintain social connections. Anytime you join a class, it's the opportunity to meet some new friends. But also, a lot of people like to bring a friend that they already know to belly dance class. Because one of the difficulties about building and maintaining friendships as adults is that we just don't see our friends as often. When you're in high school or in college, you just see them all the time because you're at the same school. But as adults, you have to make plans, you may not live in the same neighborhood anymore. And so having a scheduled regular activity like a weekly belly dance class is a wonderful opportunity to keep those friendships strong. Now, doing something fun together like belly dance is a great start because it happens regularly, you're expected to show up, and so it keeps you showing up and making time for your friends. But it's also great to make sure that you also allow some time to just sit down and talk. So whether it's a new friend that you're meeting in class or an old college friend that you're just trying to stay in touch with, a great opportunity is to go out for brunch after belly dance class. And that's one of the reasons why we have our class at the time that we do. Our Sunday level 1 offering ends at 12:30, which is perfect. You can still get into all of the brunches in the neighborhood. Plus, our venue, Third Life Studio, is right on the edge of Union Square in Somerville, which has tons of restaurants. So I'd like to introduce you to a couple of my favorite options. Now, I was hoping to do this on foot to show you in real life, but it is very, very cold outside. So instead, we're going to take a little tour through Google Maps. Let me switch over my view. All right. So Third Life Studio is located on the edge of Union Square as Somerville Ave comes on in. So let me click into Street View. And this is the studio here, just where the 87 and 85 buses come in. So this is Somerville Ave leading into Union Square. Now from here, there are a lot of directions that we can take. My personal favorite is to head over here onto Bow Street. So if we cross the street and make a left, if we head up Bow Street, we've got several great options. There is Capone Foods, which is not actually a place to stop and eat, but is a wonderful place to shop. We have Block Cafe here on the right that has coffee, sandwiches, salads, plenty of indoor seating as well as outdoors in nice weather, but that can get a little bit busy, especially on Sunday afternoons. And so if you are really tied to sitting down for a while, that can sometimes be a busy option. If you head on past the post office, we get to Union Square Donuts, which is fantastic. In addition to donuts, they also have coffee, some savory sandwiches, etc., as well as Siam Ginger, which is a great Thai place. Siam Ginger has also been one of the long-term residents of Union Square, and it's nice to support them. If we continue along Bow Street, we are going to head up here where we have a Juice Union juice bar. I haven't been there, so I can't comment on it, but the neighborhood restaurant and bakery is one of my favorites. This is another one of those long-time businesses that has been here longer than I have. I've been teaching in the square for 10 years, and this predates me. And so this is a really great place. It has a really great old school breakfast and brunch menu, as well as a lot of Portuguese specialties that are just delicious. So there's indoor seating, and when the weather is nice, there's this beautiful outdoor space with a grape leaf trellis, which is just wonderful. Now, if we continue along Bow Street, we're going to head towards one of my favorites. This is going to take us back around to Somerville Ave. And here on this block, we have the Fortissimo Coffee House. That's here under these red awnings. Now, Fortissimo has coffee, sandwiches, smoothies, all kinds of good stuff. And as you can see, it's just about 2 blocks from the studio, so it's all still a very, very short walk. Now, as I mentioned in one of my other videos, there is no parking enforcement on Sundays, so you can park anywhere on the street, which makes it very easy to stick around and have some brunch. All right, so this takes us back to the studio. Now, another direction that we can take is to follow Somerville Ave as it curves into the square And just on the corner here, we have Machu Chicken. Now, this is a Peruvian charcoal chicken place. It is one of my favorites. It's got a fairly nice sit down, or you can take out. In addition to really great charcoal chicken, they have great sandwiches. You can get quinoa and yuca and all kinds of good stuff. And their salad dressing is my favorite. This corner curves around for Red House Chinese, India Palace, which is my go-to. Even back when I was in college and I had never physically been in Union Square, that's where we used to order our Indian takeout from. There is also Gracie's, which is an ice cream shop, which doesn't sound all that appealing right now in the cold weather, but I hear they also have a great hot chocolate. Now, Gracie's doesn't open until 1, so if you're joining us right after class, then you're going to need to kill some time first. But now let's follow this around the corner here as we get to Washington Street. And another great option here is Juliet. Juliet is a newer restaurant. It's very like high-end fine dining, but during the day they have a much more casual offering where they offer breakfast, lunch, and a really highly regarded brunch. So that's a fantastic option as well. All right, now let's head over to the other side of the square. We are going to cross over here, and a kitty corner across Webster Ave, we have Mama Gina's Pizzeria. If you want something more casual, just standard pizza, subs, salads, this is a great option. It's very inexpensive and very affordable, and that's another long-time business in the square. One of the things that has a lot of positives and negatives is that Union Square has changed a lot in several years. As I've mentioned, I've been here for 10 years, and even just in the last couple of years, there have been major, major changes. And so I really love a lot of the long-term businesses that have been here longer than I have. My hairdresser grew up in the neighborhood, and she says Mama Gina's has been around since at least she was a kid. All right, now if we continue down through the square, we're going to pass the convenience store, and then heading up here, there is a Korean restaurant, which I've heard wonderful things about, but I have not been inside. I don't know what their hours are, so I can't recommend it for brunch specifically. There's a fairly typical Chinese restaurant. And then as we keep going down towards Prospect Ave, we're going to get to one of my favorites, which is Ebi Sushi. That is here on the corner. Now, I don't know what their hours are. I do believe they are open around lunchtime on Sundays, but you might want to check their website first. And then hidden behind this truck, there's also a Dunkin' Donuts. So if you're thinking something quick, fast food, that can be a good option too. Also, if you're taking the bus to or from class, this can be a great place to kill some time because there are quite a few buses that pick up just across the street here. All right, now on the other side of the square, let's see if I can get over there. As we head around the corner here, where there's a whole row of restaurants and businesses here in the parking lot area on the other side of the square. We've got Cantina La Mexicana, which has a beautiful sit-down area as well as a smaller bar. There is Casa B Tapas. Now, I don't know their hours, so I don't know if that's a brunch option. There is Bronwyn. This is another kind of fine dining German restaurant. I've been there many times and it's fantastic. Good cocktails too if you're up for that. And I've heard wonderful things about their brunch. We also have the Independent, which has a really extensive brunch menu. And if we continue down the square, I managed to get myself into their bathroom photo. Okay, let me take a step back. All right. Now, where I was trying to show you was in this large brick building that used to be the police station. On the lower level, there's another kind of neighborhood pub called Brass Union, and they also have a delicious brunch. Continuing east, we've got El Potro, which is a Mexican restaurant, as well as an old-fashioned pizzeria. And that is just about it for our tour of the square. Now, there are tons and tons of restaurants in the area that I didn't mention, so I'm going to take a step out a little bit. If you're willing to go just a little bit farther, so a couple of blocks down the road, there is Dosa and Curry on Somerville Avenue. That is a vegetarian Indian restaurant, which has a really great reputation, but is also a great option if you or the folks you're dining with have more food preferences or restrictions. And another good option is the new Cafe and Juice Bar, which is brand new. This is a little bit farther away, so the studio is here, so you have to walk all the way through the square and go another couple of blocks down. But that's a brand new place. It's got some really good reviews, and they have a lot more kind of fancy, healthy options. So if you need, a quinoa bowl or something like that, that's a good choice. But if we continue a little farther down Washington Street, then there's New Cafe and Juice Bar there. But we can also continue down towards the very edge of the square where we're going to get to a few more options. So we're getting just down the end of Washington Street towards McGrath. And on this last block, we've got a couple of places, but we also have the J&J restaurant. Now this has got a convenience store, but it also has some great Portuguese and Brazilian food as well. And if you're willing to go under the underpass here, down Washington Street under McGrath Highway, then you can start heading down a little further and go just a couple of blocks, and you're going to get down to the Cobble Hill area, where we also have an additional diner. Let me find our way under here. All right, where we get to Buddy's, which is one of those kind of historic train car style diners. And then in the Cobble Hill Center, there's also a Brazilian steakhouse, a great roti place, etc. All right, so as you can see, if you are in the Union Square area, there are tons and tons and tons of places where you can sit down just for a simple coffee or for a fancy brunch or just about anything that you would like. And so if you want to make time to see your friends on a regular basis and really keep those relationships strong, consider joining us for a class. This makes a really fantastic way to stay in touch with your friends, to not just see them on a regular basis, but also to really make time to be with them. If you'd like to join us, you can find our class listings at bellydancesomerville.com, and we would love to have you. Thanks a lot.